I think the interviews are going well. People seem to have fun and people seem to like it. So I have a list of questions for you if you don't mind.
Yeah.
The first one is, how long have you been a loan officer now?
I've been in the industry for a little bit over 3 years.
Nice. So you're far from a rookie.
Yeah, I would say so. I started out as an account manager. I was a loan officer assistant, so I got to learn from different people, which is great for me to build my career.
Right, right. I'm sure they helped a lot. What inspired you to pursue this job?
Um, so I graduated with my bachelor's in business. I saw that you sent me questions, but I actually didn't look at them. So you're getting like the
Okay.
raw, like full story.
Yeah, that's great. Go ahead. We're in no rush.
Um, so I graduated with my bachelor's in business from SUNY Farmingdale in the summer of 2021.
Mhm.
A friend of mine kept telling me, like, you got to talk to this guy. Like, he's going to help you get a job in finance because I wanted to go into finance. I didn't know kind of where I wanted to go into.
Uh,
And he kept pressuring me to do it. So I finally did. And that is how I first started getting a job in mortgages. But on the same day that I got the job and I was able to like start that Monday, unfortunately, a friend of mine passed away.
oh man.
And ironically, he always wanted to purchase a house. His girlfriend had a lot of debt. He was paying it off. He paid off her car. So he was like getting ready to purchase a home. So what keeps me going and what like inspires me to stay is, I always think of when I'm helping other people, like I'm helping him. So
Right. That's a great way to look at it, right? It's not all about
yeah,
money, right? Tell us about your very first year.
my first year. Um, hmm.
Because this is more for the up and coming loan officers, because I know the first year is always the roughest.
Business wise, well, my first year was a lot different than a lot of different loan officers. I'll say that. Um, my first year, I think I'll just give advice to like loan officers. The best thing to do is to do your research on where you're working. It is so important that you share the same values as the place that you're working
Mhm.
because sometimes where you're working, they don't have your best interests at heart, and it could definitely derail you. Which I have like, a long story, but I'm not even going to get into that.
Okay. Yes, it's interesting. It's the same thing with real estate because some brokerages are better than other brokerages, and you can kind of tell within maybe the first few weeks or even the first few months, like which ones are, there to help you and which ones are just all about money, right? Because I'm sure that happens in your business too.
Absolutely, 100%. You want a place that cares about you. Like, I've done my research on places where you want to work, and there are like 7 things that you want to look for. So, number one is location. So,
Mhm.
when you're looking, you want to make sure that you can make it to the office. Like,
Close to home.
you could also work from home if you want to and stuff like that. It's also close to like referral partner offices because that's important as well. You want to invite your referral partners into your office. And if it's not convenient for them, that's really hard for you as well.
Hmm.
So location is one. Number two is mentorship. When you're first starting out, it is so important that you have a mentor that wants to see you do well and wants to help build you up and grow, and they have your best interests at heart. Number three is you also want to make sure that they have lead generation because especially when you first start out, like you want to be able to see like, you want to be able to do those cold calls and things like that because that's the only way to learn.
Hmm.
Um, there's a couple other ones. I know it's like 7, but it's like, oh, marketing is another one. So that's marketing. Number one, we're in sales. So you want to make sure that they have a great marketing department that's going to help you and build your business, not only with just flyers and open houses, but social media. It's like big. That's how we met. We met through social
Right,
media. So,
right.
we have to be able to be with the way of the world. Other one. There's 3 more, and I'll think of it later.
No
But
problem. I'm sure it's all on Google too, but yeah, if you think of it, let us know.
those are like those are my top. those are like the top four, I would say that like you
Yeah,
had to
I'm
mention.
sure. I mean, it sounds very similar to real estate. You know, a lot of there's a lot of overlap between the two businesses. And I know that with loan officers, like building relationships with real estate agents is really important for you guys, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're the ones that refer the clients to you guys when they need a loan. So I'm sure that getting as many real estate agents as you can, to basically know, like, and trust you is a big part of the business. No?
Yes, absolutely. But I also think it's important, like, when you're building a relationship with a referral partner, like you said, that trust is very, very important and building like a friendship with them. You want someone to call you to do an open house with you because you can have that conversation with them. You can help them out. If they have a problem with a client, like you're there, you're able to help them. So that's important to establish a relationship. It's not just all about business as well and getting to know them.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure, just like real estate, friendliness plays a very, very large role because I can't imagine, like, sometimes I'll meet a nasty real estate agent and I always think in my head, like, that has to affect your business. It has to affect your business. And I'm sure it's the same thing with loan officers too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, every industry you're going to be in, you're always going to find, and I always think about it this way. If someone's being negative, I always think about what's going on in their life,
Yeah.
and like I hope that I can add some positivity to their day. I've met people and, I've changed their heart where, they might have been a little nasty to me at first and then, but then there are other people that are just nasty and they just will never like you. And it is what it is.
You don't have to return the energy when they're nasty. You don't have to return the energy.
You shouldn't, no. But you
Yeah, I
should stand
agree.
up for yourself. That's 100% very, very important. You should stand up for yourself.
And that's a whole different discussion. But so walk us through a normal day in your shoes. You wake up. What time do you wake up? What do you do? Coffee or tea? Walk us through a normal day.
I actually do not drink any coffee or tea. And if I do drink coffee, it's decaf. I'm very different.
Mhm.
But
You're naturally energetic.
yeah. I'm bubbly, I guess. A normal day for myself. I like to wake up early. I like to get my workout in the morning
How
because
early?
like a 6 a.m. morning
Okay,
class
that's
to
good. That's
do.
great.
I switch up my routine. So sometimes I'm at hot yoga, sometimes it's hot Pilates, sometimes it's Barry's boot camp, sometimes, I go to the gym on my own or I'll run outside depending on the weather. So, I like to switch up my routine, whatever, at least for the week, like I'll write down what I want to do. And I always look at the weather. I'm like, all right, I could go for a walk this day and stuff like that. So exercise, very, very important to me to wake up. And then I'm a protein shake person. So after I'll have my protein
Which
shake.
protein shake? Which brand?
I at Hot Yoga Carl Place, I go to like the yoga cafe or I go to Buy a Bar and I'll switch it up. I like chocolate peanut butter and
Oh,
banana,
man, I
or I
love
like very,
banana.
very good.
I love like anything banana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Like
Very,
peanut
very
butter and
good
banana.
is
Oh my gosh.
the very, very good is with raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, coconut water, and peanut butter. And it sounds very strange, but it's really good. So highly recommend. But you could also add banana in there too.
We're slowly turning this into a diet, a
I
conversation.
know, right?
So
Yeah.
so so
So
after the
back
protein
on
shake,
track
after the protein shake,
from
what do you do?
there, I that's like maybe 7 in the morning,
Uh-huh.
like 7 to like 8 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, I'm already like ready to go. My company offers us we're able to like listen to the economy and stuff like that. So at least for 15 minutes a day, I'm listening to what's going on in the world because that's very important. And it also
Interesting.
will affect interest rates. It'll affect the economy. And I want to be able to educate my borrowers and my referral partners as well. And then I'll get into like follow-ups. I'll look at my CRM, see what I have to do. Every day is different. So, you could be working with some clients could get an accepted offer. It really just depends on how the day goes. But to be honest with you, I'm on the phone like probably like maybe like I would say like 10 hours of the day. Yeah.
That,
Um, and then also like going to networking events is very important. So to someone that's just starting out, like meeting new people,
yes.
I find it very important to just go out and like talk to different people.
Yes.
So like even if I'm at the nail salon, like, hey, like, oh, I do mortgages, and like, you can get clients just like that just by talking with people.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely try to hit as many real estate events as possible. So I definitely agree. And but you said you were on the phone 10 hours a day. That's a lot of hours, man. I guess it's better than
I
50
feel like I might be
yesterday.
exaggerating on that, but it really depends on the day. Like if there's a deal that I need to get done, and I've had times where like I'm like on the phone constantly, like back and forth between attorney, things like that to make sure deals get through. I mean, I'm going to be the person to do it. I'm going to pick up my phone to make sure people are getting things done.
So just for the up and coming loan officers, the vast majority of the job is talking on the phone, right? Would you say agree with that?
Mm,
Or a large percentage at least.
well, when you're talking with clients, yes, but when you're structuring deals, you're on the computer,
Right.
being a loan officer, I like to think of it as, like it's like a puzzle, basically. Everybody has their own unique situation. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that, you're helping your clients get the best deal possible and you're structuring it in a way that works best for them. So, making sure that they have the right monthly payment that they're looking for, getting all the information from them. So it's just, structuring things in a way. And also it's like, critical thinking as well. If something doesn't work, how can we make it work?
You got to be a problem solver. What is the difference
Yes,
between
absolutely.
what's the difference between a loan officer and a loan originator?
It's the same thing. Yeah. You originate loans, you're a loan officer. It's really the same thing. Some people like originator better because, you're giving people the pre-approval and things like that, but it's legitimately the same thing.
So some people just like the word officer.
It makes us feel special. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
Even though there's no badge, right?
yeah.
What is your favorite thing about being a loan officer?
I have two things. So my favorite thing obviously is helping people. I find it very, very important. And everybody says this, like I love helping people,
Uh-huh,
but
uh-huh.
like I love talking with people and be able to like solve a problem and like, like I'll get a phone call and like people could be frantic. Like this is like it's so much fun to like work with people and like help them solve that problem. But I also think like number two is, it's a very male dominated industry.
Hmm.
And I like that I just retired from being a cheerleading coach. And
Wow.
yeah,
Two
I,
very different jobs.
yes, I do like say it's like cheer to close instead of clear to close. But that's not just all. I'll explain that maybe a little later. But I just wanted to say that, like, I want to be an inspiration to like my athletes to show them that there is a woman in this industry, you know, pursuing this career when there isn't a lot of other females that do it. And it is a very, very hard industry for a female to be in.
Yeah, I would imagine there's a lot of hurdles you have to climb. And it's interesting because real estate is, I think, 70% women. Why do you think that loan officer tends to attract more men than women?
Oh, that's a good question.
There has to be a reason.
Um, well, like I started a friend of a friend, so it's like word of mouth, oh, try this job. I think yeah, I think that it attracts more men because, it's like when I've worked in, different mortgage companies before, and I have to say that like, it's easier for like males to like mesh with males than, for the same reason as with women. So that's
Right.
probably why.
And maybe you just answered this question, but what is your least favorite thing about being a loan officer? They gotta know.
So you said maybe you just answered that
Yeah,
question.
right, right. Right.
No, I mean, there are great like men in this industry that I've worked under two top producers before as a loan officer assistant. Both were men and they treated me extremely nicely. And I'm so blessed and lucky to have learned from them. So that's like that's a positive side of it. I'd
Okay.
say negative side. You hear stories from people about how people were scammed and stuff like that. And like
Loan
people,
officers were scammed or how? clients
Clients were scammed,
uh,
and it's like how, oh, we know the mortgage industry or we know the real estate industry. And my goal in this industry is, to be, transparent with everyone, open communication, and, have people not worry about things like that, because, we've had the '08 crisis and stuff like that. I learned about that in college, and then I came right into mortgages. I wrote a whole paper on it. So it's kind of like, I want to be that safe haven for people where they don't have to worry that they're getting scammed or something like that. They're getting the best deal possible for themselves. I would say the least favorite part is there are greedy people in this industry that do that. And that's that's really hard to hear. And it's very disheartening. But
when you say greedy people, you're referring to loan officers.
yeah, yeah. I think that people I think because this is like very like money hungry industry, the money will get to your head and then it's just like greed from there. So that's not that's not how I operate.
It's
It's
like
not about
working on
money.
it's
It's
like
about
working
how
on Wall Street.
yeah. Well, that's because you're in finance,
Yeah.
it's different. Real estate is also the same. You're making money too. It's just different. You're out in the field, whereas myself as a loan officer, sometimes I don't meet my clients until closing.
Wow.
With technology,
Yeah.
people can do their application over the phone,
Yep.
talk to them on the phone, you know what I mean? So that's actually when I first started and I was doing cold calling, I couldn't believe how many people would give me their social security number in like the first 5 minutes of talking with me on the phone. I was like,
Yeah. Because you
I
could be a
don't
scammer as far as they know.
exactly. So, that was strange to me. But I also understand that, like, that's why getting a referral partner is so important because they're going to guide you to the right people. You know what I mean? If you're going off on your own, you don't know who you're finding.
Yeah, I've been in multiple businesses. I've been reselling sneakers for 5 years. I used to be a school safety officer. I've been Ubering for 5 years and real estate for 7 months. And I always feel like no matter what business you're in, honesty and transparency will take you a really long way, because people notice when you're honest, when you're transparent, people notice. And when you're not like that, people notice that too. So I always feel like honesty and transparency always takes people a pretty long way, right?
100% in business. You have to be, and that's why like cheer to close, that's what I say is like, is so important because it's not about like cheering you onto the closing table. Of course, that's so important to keep you positive throughout the process. It's a very overwhelming process for first-time home buyers and investors or anybody. It's a big purchase. But I think that cheer to close is about trusting because in cheerleading, I get tossed in the air 10, 20 feet. I need to make sure that that person knows what they're doing because
Yeah,
if
yeah,
they don't, it could be catastrophic. So
yeah,
that's the same thing for a loan officer. You want to make sure that that person knows what they're doing. You trust them to get you there. And, that especially like in a stunt, right? Like things could go wrong, but you know that
yeah.
they have your back and they'll catch you. So that's the same thing. So that's cheer to close my little spiel.
So I guess there's a lot of overlap between cheering and being a loan officer.
I can relate anything to, to anything, to be honest. That's just a creative side of myself.
You can find what everything has something in common with cheering. It's kind of like me with chess. Like I play chess and I feel like
I
I
play
can.
chess too. We'll have to play.
Yes, we'll have to play. We'll play for clients.
Bring it on.
Definitely. Do you deal with commercial real estate as well?
Yes. So I've done a couple of deals with commercial. I can do them. I don't necessarily, I would say, specialize in them, but I definitely am looking to go more towards that route
Yeah,
within.
because there is for the viewers, there is more money in commercial real estate than residential, right?
Yes. Actually, I retract that. It depends. It really depends on
Mhm.
the company. It depends on who you're working with. There's a lot of money in residential as well. So
It's probably more competitive though.
in commercial
Yeah,
for a loan officer, um, it depends. It depends on who you're working with.
gotcha. And maybe it depends on the location too. So I remember you said you have a CRM. Which CRM do you use?
Actually, Cross Country has our own CRM. So
Oh, gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
which is
Uh,
really awesome. So I'm able to, as soon as I put different people in there, they'll send out emails, they'll send out texts. That's actually really, really cool.
Yeah, like every single day you get reminders from the CRM, right? Is that how it works?
Daily tasks every morning. Yep.
Which is good, it's nice and organized. Do you think people today should buy or rent?
I I think obviously I'm a loan officer, so I'm going to say everybody should buy, but I'm just going to give you a scenario, right? Your parents probably bought, uh, I don't know, they probably bought their house for maybe 200,000, right? I don't know where you live, but let's just say you live in Melville, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Let's see how much prices are going right now there, like 700, 800.
Mhm.
See how much equity they built from purchasing. So I actually just worked with a client, I want to say like maybe like a couple of weeks ago. And, a referral partner reached out to me like, hey, they have a little bit of an issue. Can you give them a call? So, understanding their scenario was that this is a couple. They were renting for years, probably 10 to 15 years, same house, like, they just didn't find the need to buy because they found a perfect place to live. Come to find out that now that the landlord wants to sell the house. So
Hmm.
they have to move. And for all those 10, 15 years that they were paying for rent, they didn't get anything from it.
No equity.
Yep, no equity whatsoever. So now they have to purchase. So their question to me was, do you think we should buy or rent? I'm like, I think you answered your own question because for 10, 15 years, you could have been building up money for your kids, you know?
Wow.
So that's important for people to know as well is that, when you're renting, you're just paying your landlord's mortgage, and you're not building up equity for your future generations and, things like that.
It's just really sad because like the vast majority of people right now can't afford to buy, and that's the sad part, because pretty much everyone wants to buy for the most part, but the rates are so high. And do you think that the rates are going to come down anytime soon?
Well, the rates recently dropped.
Yeah.
So, which is great. We did see a ginormous decrease in interest rates, which, everybody's kind of jumping on. And we also heard that the Fed the other day said that we'll be dropping interest rates again
Nice.
by the end of the year.
Uh-huh.
So that's good for people as well. I don't normally like to talk about interest rates because people don't understand that you might get like, let's say you're looking to purchase a home today, right? And I could give you an interest rate, but if you don't find a home within the next, you know, couple of months, interest rates are going to fluctuate and change. And my
Yeah.
job is to find the best time. So that's why in the morning I listen to the economy because, the best time to lock your rate, you want to find a loan officer that knows that. Um, but again, I can't lock your rate until you find a home. So that's also important for people to know as well, is that like we can go over a loan estimate, but that's not going to be your interest rate. Your interest, like maybe a couple of months later, you never know what it's going to be. So
What
it's
about home prices? Do you think home prices will drop anytime soon?
uh, probably not. No, we have not seen home prices drop. So I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah, which is a sad truth. It's a sad reality of the situation. Where do you normally get your leads from?
I just want to like go back to your question because I think it is very, very sad for people that they can't afford to purchase a home. But I've worked with people that I started working with like a year ago, and now they're just purchasing. So it's important to give, like I said, it's a puzzle piece. Maybe you're not ready to buy today, but having a conversation with a loan officer like myself and just having me see like documents and things like that and what you're doing so I can give you like, okay, maybe your credit isn't so great because what a loan officer is looking at is your debt to income ratio.
Mhm.
So we're looking at to see like how much debt you have. So if you have student loans, credit card payments, things like that throughout the month, that's going to take your monthly payment down, right? And then it's also your income, how much you're bringing in. Now, we also see that some people don't make as much. So if you have both of those, you're kind of like maxing yourself out, right? And then it also goes in with um assets. Do you have enough money for a down payment? Because you also have to think about closing costs and things like that. It's not just a down payment, there you go. And there are down payment assistance programs for, first time home buyers, things like that. There are so many programs out there. um, for teachers, blue collar workers, things like that. What I'm trying to specialize in is helping people learn how to invest so they can make money from real estate. That's really, really important to myself, especially for women, starting like a little segment on that, and also men as well. Like I think that that's important. But um,
Hey, I lost you for a second.
did you not hear me at all from?
I had missed the last like 30 seconds because the screen
Oh,
froze. I missed, so it's just say the last like 30 seconds, what'd you say?
um, I just think if anybody is looking to purchase, they should speak with a professional and, understand what they do, what they need to purchase. I think everyone has the ability to. They just need to understand and be educated on how they can purchase. So it's not a never, it's a just not right now. And then it's, working with someone, you work with the credit repair person, something like that, you know, to help yourself get to that spot. That way people aren't always renting.
Right, yeah, because that's the hole we all want to get out of. So where do you normally get your leads from?
So I've done a whole bunch of different lead generation sources. I think I started on OpCity, with like cold calling, things like that. But I think what is obviously the number one is through referral partners, but also I would say like just word of mouth. Like I
Mm.
said, like I go around, like I'll talk to people like at the gym and stuff like that. I'm like, just having a conversation. People always, when they're asking you like, oh, what do you do? And you tell them, oh, I do mortgages. And then like I explain to them like, the correlation between the cheerleading and the mortgages, they find it very fascinating. So, and you don't realize how many people are looking to either A, purchase, or they have a friend that's looking to purchase.
Yeah, I feel like everyone knows at least one person that's trying to purchase, and the vast majority of people when they purchase, they do need a loan. Like, what percentage of the people need a loans versus cash buying? Is it like 90, 95%? Do you know?
That I don't know. I actually have seen like recently, like what I've seen is a lot of like to get an accepted offer, a lot of people are putting more cash offers in.
Yeah, which is tough, and I'm sure that has to be a pretty small percentage of people that even have the cash to just make a cash offer. So I have a question for you. I'm very interested in. Do you view other loan officers as competition?
No, I do not. And I'm a cheerleader. And I'm a cheer coach. So I'll be honest with you. Like I've always said this to my athletes, it is not you versus the other team. Ask any of my athletes. I
Interesting.
literally tell them like you have to cheer on like, the other cheer teams. And it's important that they do that. And the reason why I cheer on other loan officers all the time, I'll see that they, oh, closed on this one. I'm like, congratulations. Like that's exciting, in cheer, it's you versus the score sheet. So it's the same thing in business.
Mm.
It's you versus you. Are you hustling? Are you making those phone calls? Are you reaching out to people? Are you doing everything you can for those clients? Are you structuring the deal properly? Are you asking the right questions? So it's really just you versus you.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You don't really hear too many coaches say it's not you versus them. Most coaches are like, it's you versus them, anything to win. Most coaches have that like anything to win sort of mentality. So it's kind of a fresh breath of air to hear someone say like it's not you versus them, which is a very interesting perspective.
Um, when I coached at Oyster Bay, I
Uh,
started with like four student athletes. So I didn't really know what was going to transpire from that, but we ended up getting ninth in the nation. We were on the
wow.
news back in 2020. Yeah. And something I told my athletes was it's never about the destination, it's always about the journey. So it's never about like the win or anything like that. It's about like all those little small wins to get there. So I think that that's like the most important. So, and I think it's like there's enough business to go around for everyone. I have met such amazing loan officers in this industry. Like I said, I've worked for two top producers, but I've met some great people that like, that you can work together that maybe a deal that I I wouldn't have the best because I don't have the program for that. I know somebody else that does. And it's important that I'm not like, no, I'm going to keep this deal. Like, no, like I think, giving it to someone else that can get the deal done for a client will, go back on my, like, I don't even know like the word for that, but will come back around to me. So,
Right. Things tend to come back around in business. I noticed that too. Like when you're good to other people, eventually it'll come back to you. I did notice that in my other businesses as well. So your job is 100% commission based, right?
yes, it's the same thing as a real estate agent.
Right. So how long did it take you to wait for your very first check? Because some people it's like a year. How long was it to your first check?
So when I started, I was an account manager. So I was like salary for a while and like as a
Oh,
loan
you were
officer
salaried. Okay.
assistant. Um, are we talking about like the first like commission check from like myself being an assistant and still having a salary, or just like when I went off on my own as a loan
Let's
officer?
say when you went off on your own, when you were independent, how long did you have to wait for your first check?
4 or 5, 4 months, I would say 4 months. Yeah.
Which is
Four.
really tough for some people because a lot of people are living check to check. So, for the people that are listening, you might have to wait of some months for that first check, which can be really rough, you know?
Yeah, I definitely haven't had it easy in this industry. When I went off on my own, it wasn't easy. But you know what? I had good people in my corner that wanted to help me, and that was just very, very important. And it's also like I said, word of mouth. Like the more you want it, the more it's going to come to you. You know what I mean? And it does take a very, very long time, you know. I would say that like I still have goals for myself. I want to close like X amount of deals a month and stuff like that. And I'm gonna get there. Time will tell. Like I said, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And even being on this podcast, I'm able to go into like your space and your people so they can see, what a loan officer does.
Yeah, it's the very, very cliche, like you can't give up, because and it's so true. Like no matter how long it takes, no matter what you go through, you can't give up. And it's so cliche, but it's so true. How will the NAR lawsuit settlement affect loan officers?
It's very different from real estate agents because I have seen a significant change because I now see that agents have to call other agents to see if they're going to offer commission.
Hmm.
Um, for loan officers, I haven't seen much change, but I do believe that there's been more like sellers concessions. So I think that we're going to start seeing more of those as well.
Interesting. Yeah, so I guess it's not, a huge impact on loan officers, I guess.
Well, again, there's it's different because now the selling agent probably is going to want to use their clients, you know what I mean? And that's always been a thing, so I don't see much of a change.
Gotcha. So did you ever think about opening up your own brokerage?
Maybe one day. I'm not too sure. I think that right now I'm just working on my own business. I still have so much to learn. And I think that that's important, is like another reason why I love being a loan officer is that there's always room for growth.
Hmm.
And like you're never going to hit that like top ladder, like you're going to be able to keep climbing and climbing. And that's fun. Like that's something that I can always keep working towards, keep making goals for.
Yeah, I can definitely hear it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. I can
Yeah.
I can definitely hear that you love your job and that you love like climbing up the ladder and that you're not necessarily in a rush to be that like multi-millionaire. Like you enjoy the journey.
Yeah, it's not even about the money. It's about inspiring other people. Like really, like I like being on this podcast because it's for young people that can see like a different job that maybe they'll be interested in, and I hope to inspire young people to try it out. And always like give me a call if they ever need me or anything.
Yeah, I can definitely hear that cheer mentality in the way that you
Yeah,
talk.
very, very, very big athlete.
Very, very positive attitude, which I think really translates into business. Like my broker was just saying the other day, like A lot of realtors are very negative and always complaining. And, being positive is actually, in my opinion, one of the best possible tips that you can give to a new loan officer, a new real estate agent, right?
Oh, 100%. I mean, you can always say be positive in like different like hard times. Like this industry is not easy. It's kind of like being an athlete. There are going to be times where you're crushed, you lose that deal and stuff like that. But it makes you want to work harder. And like I always in cheerleading, I always did a fail forward Friday. I like to be authentic. I think it's so important, like as a loan officer, that people see me. Like that's why I like to be on social media, not just as a loan officer, but as a human being and as a person.
Hmm.
Because if someone's looking at my finances, that's personal, it's intimate. You know what I mean? And I want to know that they're a human and they care about me and they have empathy and compassion and they're able to, have the knowledge to get me to where I need to go.
Thanks. So we only have 1 minute left. Do you
I know.
have
I
any?
saw that. I was like, oh
Oh,
no.
you see it too. I didn't know you see it. Do you
Yeah.
have any tips for new loan officers?
Find for any new loan officer coming in this market, stay positive. That's number one. Number two, always look at, you know, like find the right mentor, find the right people. It's like the same thing anywhere you go. They're going to be people that are right for you, people that, maybe you won't be able to mesh in with, but like find the people that you don't have to look for the top producers or anything like that. You need to look for the people that care about you. That's so important. They're going to help you get to the next level.
And really quick, where can people find you?
You could social media, Chelsea Bressingham, Cheertoclose is on there. And then yeah, that's my name and number, I guess you'll put on here. So
Yes, I'll put your Instagram and your number if you want down below. It was so great talking to you, Chelsea. It was fun.
thank you so much. Have a great day.
We'll have a part two sometime. Thanks. Take care. Bye.
Bye.